Hello, this is Moto the Magical Mapshifter, toasting you for joining the Mapshifting family. You're probably here because you followed a link in our Magic Spore NFT. Well, I'm here to share some of the benefits of keeping your Magic Spore while minting 3 more. I'll also share some details of our blockchain technology, social, crypto, syndication, and let you know about some of the upcoming events and resources in our mobile app, Scoby Social. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome to Mapshifting, the self-sovereignty game, an experience that will unfold over, under, and throughout time in various improbable ways. As we explore the cutting edge of consciousness and expand the possibility space, you might find yourself disoriented. For example, right now, you might believe you've been hoodwinked into joining a webinar called How to Get Paid for Being Yourself that's going to upsell you on a book, masterclass, mentorship, mastermind, and high-ticket self-help program offer. That's a good sign. Whenever you lose your bearings, feel free to connect with me directly on Discord, Twitter, or Telegram. All my links are available at motodave.com. I'll be sure to further your confusion. That's my job as a map shifter. If you want direction, there are plenty of people on the internet willing to accept your money in exchange for telling you exactly what to do. Self-sovereignty is not that. It really is about getting paid for being yourself. Getting paid is hard. Being yourself is even harder. The two together, well, that's nearly impossible. That's why I invented the art and science of map shifting. When all else fails, shift your map. I embarked on this path when I was in college in the 80s. My declared major was philosophy, but I really majored in putting out a compilation album of local bands, getting a recording contract, touring, and making a video that landed me on MTV. The music industry was a hard lesson in not getting paid for being yourself, and I never got to the point where I could quit my day job, which is all any of us in the post-punk scene really wanted. In 1993, I fell deep into the internet and founded one of the first web development companies, Husky Labs. I presented a paper at the first International Conference of the World Wide Web in 1994 at CERN Particle Physics Lab, where Tim Berners-Lee invented the web browser, web server, and hypertext transfer protocol. It was a gathering of only 380 people that became known as the Woodstock of the web. David Chaum, the cryptologist who founded DigiCash, was a keynote speaker. I was fascinated by the idea of digital cash and followed him back to Amsterdam. I wound up selling a poem for a penny in the very first anonymous digital transaction of money in internet history. This was a couple decades before Bitcoin. Husky Labs started to take off. The Baltimore Sun covered our projects, like the first websites for NPR, Penguin Books, and the Coca-Cola Company. We created Pope TV as the first live audio-video streaming news service over the web. We demoed the first live video conference over the internet with doctors at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, collaborating with colleagues in San Jose, California. We started the metaverse with a 3D web VR walkthrough of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. We built a record store where you could listen to clips of every record in print and order them online. We set up the first live streaming website for CBS Radio News, and we developed the very first HTTPS firewall proxy to web-enable the Coca-Cola Company's enterprise applications. In 1995, we figured that the internet would allow us to work anywhere, so we moved to a small town in West Virginia, where we built our dream home, right on the river, raised 3 beautiful children, and now have a grandchild named Oliver. I wrote a book, Live Java, Database to Cyberspace, which was one of the first books on the Java programming language. I founded a fintech company called Ultraprise and created MISMO, the Mortgage Industry Standards and Measures Organization, which is still, to this very day, supported by such financial services firms as Rocket Mortgage and USAA. Next, I started a video game technology company called ButterflyNet that used grid computing, the predecessor to cloud computing, to build large-scale immersive worlds with virtually unlimited player capacity. We partnered with IBM and Sony to bring massively multiplayer gaming to the PS2. After a merger, we sold the combined company, and I spent a few years consulting and advising, until I had the idea for a solar energy marketplace that used big data geomatics to provide instant estimates of the money, energy, and greenhouse gas emissions that would be saved on each individual property by installing solar panels. Solar energy finance was the big challenge in the industry, so I started a blockchain DeFi company for renewable energy and civic infrastructure finance. It looked like I would ride into the sunset as a successful serial entrepreneur, when all of a sudden I got rugged by this gentleman hidden behind the PFP. We're shown here with leaders of the Progressive National Baptist Convention who are preparing to install solar panels on black churches across the country. I lost everything. Then, my safe haven in the woods on the river came under attack from fossil fuel interests and their cronies in government who conspired to construct a massively polluting building materials factory in our precious Highland Valley. The fight played out on Facebook, with political operatives and their industrialist backers amplifying the social polarization that was already sweeping the country. The combination of losing my companies, fighting to protect my home, and facing the constant barrage of attacks on social media left me traumatized. So I went to Mexico to hang out with my friend and mentor, Four Arrows, and it was in his sweat lodge, on the third round of the Inipi ceremony, that the liminal guides gifted me with Mapshifting, the self-sovereignty game. And I emerged as Moto the magical mapshifter, the man in the hat you encounter on your way to market with the family cow. You are instructed to sell the cow so your family can eat, buy clothing, and pay the rent. Yet I offer you a choice. Continue to market to sell your cow, or trade your cow for a handful of magic spores. Let's see what lies ahead if you continue to market. The market is millions of strangers who don't know a thing about you or your precious gifts. Your mission is to reach your ideal audience and somehow convert them into paying customers. That's what Web 2 is for. Targeting, driving traffic, capturing, and then converting leads so you can finally sell your cow. It might start with organic engagement, then ads, influencers, giveaways, Telegram shills, and Discord churn. It's a vicious circle you'll never leave until you take the valiant leap off the hamster wheel by minting a magic spore. The magic spore is the first NFT with social crypto syndication. With social crypto syndication, instead of starting with a big anonymous crowd, you start with a few close friends and reward them with a royalty share for enrolling their close friends in your community. Let's see how this works with the magic spore. The first thing to know about magic spores is that you have to be holding a magic spore in your wallet to mint a magic spore. If you're not holding one, you can't mint one. The minting price of a spore is 1 sol. There's an interstellar supply of only 10,000 spores in the entire universe. On minting, there is a 50-50 royalty share. On trading, there is a 15% royalty share. These royalties are shared with the holder of the grandparent spore forever. Because the parent spore is the oldest spore in the wallet when a new spore is minted, the lower numbered spores can gain higher royalty streams over time and become the most valuable as long as they're put into action, minting new spores. This is what I mean by the grandparent spore. In this case, I mint spore number 6 and send it to Niche. Niche mints spore 9 and sends it to Hex. The moment Hex mints spore 15, the grandchild of spore 6, Niche receives a half sol. When Hex sells Spore 15 to an anonymous monkey reject for 8 sol, Niche gets 1.2 sol in her wallet. Spore 15 will always be bonded to Spore 6 and send sol to whoever is holding Spore 6 for all time. Let's see how this plays out over the course of the game. Niche spends 3 sol to mint 3 spores. She sends them to Hex, Malachi, and Chris. Hex then mints 1, Mal mints 3, and Chris mints 5. Since Niche gets half the royalties on minting, she gets 4.5 sol, putting her up 1.5 sol. Hex, Mal, and Chris sell their spores for an average of 5 sol each, giving Niche another 6.75 sol in royalties and bringing her total gain to 8.25 sol. All she had to do was mint 3 and keep 1. The one she keeps will continually gain in value through the accretion of royalty streams as the game unfolds, giving her a windfall if she ever chooses to sell. The Magic Spore is the first of the liminal guides to be released. I've kept them safe in this trunk for the past 15 years. This is Spike, a liminal guide, on the piano next to the sunroom. Spike and Breath, another liminal guide, are keeping me company right now on the shelf over my desk as I record this video. There are over 100 different liminal guides in my collection that I activated in ceremony, and I'm bringing them to the Solana blockchain as NFTs for Mapshifting, the self-sovereignty game. Here are just a few of them. Dream, Shade, Spike, Wave, Moon, Crown, Quest, Morph, Breath, and the Seer Stones. The colors and arrangement of these symbols are also central to the gameplay. On many map-shifting game pieces, the liminal guides will be joined by celestial guides, clarity guides, and authority guides. Map-shifting, the self-sovereignty game, is played out on Scoby, an audio-video-centered social app organized around the NFTs in your Solana wallet. Just enter your public key in your Scoby profile, and you'll be invited to meet other collectors and creators. You can discover, host, and join live events. You can form teams and organize activities for your DAO. Through social crypto syndication, SOL will flow through the ecosystem. The royalties you received aren't only based on your mints and trades. NFTs can honor their ancestors by sending tributes across several generations. You can track mints and trades made by your friends and join them for live auctions and launches. Social crypto syndication provides a natural, organic economic basis for creativity, collaboration, and innovation that rewards all participants and continually nurtures the entire ecosystem. It's a fundamentally different model than the extractive, exploitive, oppressive, and coercive economies of Web 2 platforms, many Web 3 marketplaces, and our society as a whole. With social crypto syndication, creators just create, and collectors can simply collect, enjoy, and trade. A key role in the Scoby ecosystem is the Scout. Scouts are rewarded with royalty shares for enrolling creators, builders, investors, collectors, and other scouts. All relationships are oriented around the project. In this case, we're going to focus on an upcoming PFP called Crypto Hills Club. Now, this hasn't happened yet, so all the facts and figures I'm going to share are currently imaginary. The initial scout was Brandon Ray Thomas, a super talented music producer and recording artist. We met at the Solana Hacker House in Seattle, where he introduced me to Malachi Broadwater, a talent agent out of LA. Malachi introduced me to Da Vinci, the creator of Crypto Hills Club. Da Vinci needed some builders to develop an in-app game and a community manager to start building out interest. Da Vinci also needed money to fund the development, but more importantly, Da Vinci needed collectors to mint the NFTs when they became available. So how will Da Vinci sell out his collection in a matter of minutes without any Discord churn, Launchpad, whitelist, Telegram shills, Twitter influencers, or giveaways? The key is social crypto syndication, our spec for smart NFTs, also called NFCs, or non-fungible contracts. For each project, the creator sets royalty rates for every contributor, and every transaction is managed through the NFCs. To get some talented developers and a community manager on board, the creator offers a flat project fee of 300 Sol each, with a 5% bonus from the mints and 2% of the trades for life. The scouts who bring in builders get 7% of the total builder compensation. And the scouts who enroll the scouts who bring in the builders get 3% of the total builder comp. To pay the builders, take a couple weeks off the day job, and have some funds for various Solana blockchain services, the creator raises 1,000 Sol from 10 investors through an NFC that will pay into a 20% total mint pool and 7% trade pool. That means 2% of all mints and 0.7% of each trade to every investor. Security laws prevent investor scouts from receiving compensation based on the investment amount, so Da Vinci pays them 50 Sol each as paid promoters, which is allowed under the crowdfunding rules, as long as they identify themselves as paid promoters when posting, messaging, or shilling. Invited collectors mint for only 2 Sol each, while minting for visitors is 3 Sol. If all 5,000 sell out to invited collectors, then 10,000 Sol enter the ecosystem. The scouts who invited those collectors will receive 15% of the mints and 5% of the trades for the collectors they scouted. And the scouts who invited the scouts get 5% of the mints and 2% of the trades. The creator gets everything left. In this case, 55% of all the mints and 5% of the trades. The creator compensation is shared with the scout who invited the creator and the scout who invited that scout. If there's a brand involved as a sponsor or licensing partner, this is where they would be spiffed as well. While this might seem complicated, it's all handled behind the scenes by the NFCs, so each participant can play their roles naturally, getting paid for being themselves. Let's see how the royalty payouts work for each role. Dazed Duck receives 130 Sol for collectors and scouts they invited to the ecosystem. 100 Sol comes from 10 scouts like Monkey Reject, who invited collectors like Niche, and 30 Sol comes from 100 collectors like Thugbird, who Dazed Duck invited directly. Each investor doubles their money in a matter of months. On top of that, they each receive a share of the trade pool. Meanwhile, Ghost and Stoned Ape share the 50 Sol paid promoter pool. The builders each receive 270 Sol on milestones and 150 Sol share of the bonus pool for a payday of 420 Sol each. Thugbird gets 112 Sol payday for scouting 2 developers, while Dazed Duck gets a total of 104 Sol for scouting Thugbird and the community manager. Speaking of builders, I wanted to mention our own pool of talent available for your project. Here are 3 of our team members from Venezuela, a developer, tester, and product manager. We have deep web, mobile app, and Solana Rust smart contract experience, and our rates cannot be beat. The creator Da Vinci winds up with 4,995 Sol, almost $500,000. Malachi receives 388.5 Sol, and Brandon gets 166.5 Sol. That gives you an idea of the various ways you can get paid for being yourself. And now I'd like to get very specific on next steps. Scoby is a project in and of itself. While the royalty distribution is set by the creator for each individual project, the invitations only happen once. Whoever scouts you for Scoby will receive royalties for all time based on your activities. and you'll receive royalties based on the participation of all those you scout. There's only one way to get an invitation to SCOBY. That's mint 3 and keep 1. Social crypto syndication supports 3 types of NFCs, or non-fungible contracts. The first is the NFP, or non-fungible persona. The NFP is a profile picture that's connected to your public key. You can change your profile pic to suit a particular context. For example, if you're in a session with DGen Ape Academy, you want to present as your ape, while if you're with MonkeyDAO, you want to present as your monkey. With your NFP, you can be verified by the people who actually know you, rather than a centralized Web 2 authority like Twitter. If your NFP changes wallets, your friends are all notified so you can't be spoofed. The NFP also directs your royalty payments to the appropriate wallet address. And finally, your NFP keeps your contact information private while allowing you to securely share it for shipping physical goods, legal agreements, and other purposes with your explicit permission. Each NFP comes with a scoby.sol subdomain pointing to your wallet address, as well as a web subdomain on scoby.one. With the NFP, you can send invitations to your friends, and when they accept and create their own NFP, you'll receive royalties for life on their mints and trades as your reward for enriching the entire ecosystem. Then, when your friends invite others, you'll receive royalties on the mints and trades of those they scouted. You can see the importance of personal verification to prevent phishing, spamming, scams, and rugs. While this NFT that appeared in my wallet was an obvious fraud, scams are becoming ever more prevalent and sophisticated as the NFT market grows. On SCOBY, an NFT from Anatoly would have been verified by Raj and many others. Requiring a verified NFT in your wallet before minting also prevents Chrome plugin scams. The second part of the NFT spec is the non-fungible action, or NFA for short. If you're holding an NFA, you can take a particular action. These actions can be on-chain or off. NFAs include scouting, investing, playing a game, watching a movie, voting, ordering, paying, minting, and trading. The Crypto Hills Club will be the first NFP, and the SCOBY Invitation will be the first NFA. Morph is an NFA being developed for Mapshifting, the self-sovereignty game. When you're holding Morph, you can change into your NFP using machine learning video filters. The third and final type of NFC is the NFO, or non-fungible object. An NFO can be a fully digital asset, or a representation of a physical object. These can be in-game assets, items you order, securities, one-of-one artwork, songs, videos, real estate, or any other item. According to the spec, these items can operate in any environment, not just on SCOBY. The SCOBY slippers by DaVinci are a great example. You can wear them on your feet in your home and also wear them in the metaverse, where they will combine with NFAs to provide various magical powers depending on the context. It's this combination of persona, actions, and objects that makes social crypto syndication so powerful. We're planning to build on the emerging Raindrop protocol from Metaplex out of Solana Labs to ensure compatibility with future wallets and complete metaverse ecosystems. These are the building blocks of the metaverse, where in this example, the NFP is the avatar, the action is riding, and the object is the motorcycle. The next project to be launched on SCOBY, after the Crypto Hills Club, will be Versus Infected, a game playable with NFTs and physical cards based on the Element 245 horror novels by Paul McConnell. By applying the NFP spec, you'll be able to customize your cards and receive royalties through scouting, building, investing, collecting, and creating as essential elements of gameplay. This is the future of entertainment. The co-creator of Versus Infected is the author of Element 245. Many offline and Web 2 creators are interested in moving to Solana, and not all of them have the resources of Sony or Universal Music Group. We're organizing all kinds of events, programs, and trainings to support a wide range of entrepreneurs, executives, professionals, and creators in making the leap from the Web 2 hamster wheel onto the Solana blockchain, where you can get paid handsomely for being yourself. Which brings me to another benefit of minting 3 and keeping 1. The Creator's Kit, an 8-week self-directed program to bring your sovereign soul to Web 3. The Creator's Kit includes videos, tools, one-on-one mentorship, and live group sessions to support you in every aspect of your creative quest. The Creator's Kit is modeled after the Solana Hacker House, where everything and everyone is right at hand. You can chill or socialize, build or meet, party, pitch, host panels and live auctions, meet the artists, builders, and creators behind your favorite works, get to know your fellow collectors, and organize your DAO. You'll never have to worry about the roadmap, utility, or when the devs will do something. All the metrics for the projects you're invested in or contributing to will be available in a simple and comprehensive dashboard. Which brings us to the next important reason to mint 3 and keep 1. The Cat Fawn Institute, our DAO. The Cat Fawn Institute is a DAO of DAOs, where leaders on the cutting edge of consciousness can explore and expand the possibility space for decentralized, autonomous organizations. The Cat Fawn Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based on the work of 4 Arrows, a hypnotherapist, indigenous worldview scholar, and performance coach to world champion athletes. 4 Arrows licensed to us his entire body of work as revealed in 25 books and countless scholarly and popular articles to bring Cat Fawn out of the academy and into mainstream culture. 4 Arrows first articulated the Cat Fawn connection in his seminal work, Primal Awareness. Cat Fawn is a mnemonic for concentration, activated transformation, fear, authority, words, nature. The rigorous and consistent practice of Cat Fawn provides that most elusive state of being, self-sovereignty in community. Much of map shifting derives from Cat Fawn. Here's how it works. At every moment, life is asking you to make choices, respond to experiences, react to threats, overcome challenges, and solve problems with words and deeds. During the first 7 years of your life, your mind was wide open. You learned how to respond to experiences and challenges. You built up a tool set that served you and brought you to where you are today. Unfortunately, most of the signals you received during that time were propagated by a now obsolete culture. Your skills, expertise, attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs belong to a different time, a different society, a different civilization, a different world, a different you. Most of the time, you are locked in a vicious circle that moves from exploitation to coercion to domination to oppression. That's why I created map shifting. It's a model for metacognitive experiential co-creation that opens up new possibility spaces in each moment, giving you the ability to leave the vicious circle and enter the virtuous circle of wisdom, honor, power, and love. Everyone who mints 3 magic spores and keeps 1 will be offered full membership in the Cat Fawn Institute to practice self-sovereignty within the global community of all beings. The Cat Fawn Institute is organized under the umbrella of the Scobie Foundation. If your project is performing a social good and you'd like to take advantage of our tax-exempt status without the paperwork, we're happy to support you. SCOBY Foundation will also be offering creator grants to enrich and enliven the ecosystem. SCOBY Society itself is organized as a Delaware Public Benefit Corporation. We plan to open source all of our code, including smart contracts, mobile apps, websites, and back-end, and place all of our intellectual property in the public domain. We're also very open to partnering, so if you have an idea of how we might serve each other, you know how to reach me. We're launching from the Solana Hacker House in Austin, Texas, with a Spore Drop Challenge. The goal is to produce the most offspring from the spore you receive. These can be children that you mint yourself or progeny far removed through many generations of mints, gifts, and trades. You can mint as many spores as you want, and you're welcome to sell them, keep them, or give them away. First prize is 50 sol, second prize is 25 sol, and third prize is 10 sol. The winner will be announced on April 10th from the Solana Hacker House in Miami, Florida. Now, a quick recap of all the many reasons you'll want to mint 3 and keep 1. First, your 3 sol will instantly return 4.5 sol when those you spore drop mint 3 of their own. You'll receive 15% royalties for life whenever the grandchildren of your spores trade. The spores you drop will form a network that sends you royalties whenever new game pieces enter the map-shifting ecosystem. This means your royalty stream should steadily increase, and eventually, the value of your magic spores in the secondary market will reflect the monthly royalty rate rather than intangibles like Twitter mentions, utility, and sentiment. Completely separate from the economic benefits, the map-shifting gameplay will always surprise and delight. You'll receive an invite to SCOBY, where you can create, build, invest, collect, and scout. You'll also be on the whitelist for all future releases on SCOBY, including Crypto Hills Club and Versus Infected. As a verified SCOBY member, you'll also have a lower minting price than visitors to SCOBY. You can experience the Solana Hacker House vibe from anywhere at any time. You'll be on the cutting edge of consciousness and expand your possibility space in the Cat Fawn DAO. The Spore Drop Challenge is a chance to win 10, 25, or even 50 sol. And there's the unbeatable swag, including Da Vinci Original SCOBY slippers for wear at home and in the metaverse, as well as this fetching map-shifting the self-sovereignty game t-shirt. We'll also drop lots of digital and physical surprise swag and mystery boxes to your mailing address and Solana address over time. And finally, to express our deep gratitude for your interest in our endeavor, the creator of Mapshifting and the founder of SCOBY, both of them happen to be me, teamed up to offer you the Founder's Stone. I'll share more about this in the coming weeks. So now, after this long detour, we're back to the moment when you meet the map shifter on the road to the market. Do you make the trade for a handful of magic spores, or continue on your way, bringing your family cow to market? Let's create a whole new world together. Many thanks for joining me for this introduction to map shifting, social crypto syndication, and SCOBY Social, our mobile app. This is Moto the Magical Map Shifter, signing off.